All right, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Robertson, who's going to talk about making your healthcare data AI ready.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Earphones, good? Good, all right. I'm just gonna go ahead and start my timer so we're not going over. So, like Colby said, my name is Robertson Williams. I lead the Health and Life Science Product Management Group at SAS. So I'm responsible for the strategy and vision for our industry solutions. For this conversation, we're gonna be talking about SAS Health. So SAS Health is our data platform that we build on top of SAS Viya that provides interoperability, standardized data layers, and intelligent modeling for our healthcare customers. So really the purpose of this is to talk about how we're using integrations and ingestions to normalize data for interoperability, driving that through our pipelines into Viya, normalizing that data and preparing it for AI workflows. So I'm going to start with a couple of visuals and then we're going to get into a demonstration. So right now, I'm sure you all work in the healthcare field and experience a lot of this where there's lots of siloed healthcare data out there. It might be coming from EMR, it might be coming from a financial RCM or a lab system, and it's in all different formats. HL7, V2, X12, 835, 837 claim data, you name it. It's all over the place. And maybe you're using Viya today, maybe you're just using SAS 9, but what you're ultimately trying to do is leverage some of the technology that we provide as a company through Viya. So you bring that data in right now, maybe it's in a bunch of different formats, but what we're trying to do with SAS Health is create an automated pipeline for that data, for that healthcare specific data, to provide a healthcare intelligence platform sitting on top of the Viya ecosystem. So what we've done through that is we'll ingest data and we'll normalize it and then prepare it so we can do different downstream analytics functions like cost of care analytics, medication adherence, ED patient flow, so looking at probability of admission or length of stay. So we have all of this, and this is kind of our ecosystem today, but we're really over-indexing right now for FHIR data. So we tried to prepare our data for the future. So we realized that might be a gap right now, and what we're trying to do with this new integration that we're building with InterSystems is to provide that same pipeline and functionality, but for all of the different data sets that you guys might encounter within your ecosystem. So the HL7 V2, the X12, CDA, ADT, whatever it may be, and then again preparing that data downstream for intelligence, for analytics, or whatever models or capabilities that you have, predictive or ML. So with that, we can also integrate our AI functionality and capability, which I'll show you a little bit about today, that we have embedded in the offering, as well as some of the capabilities that are out of the box with Viya through visual analytics and some of the other applications that we have. So what we're trying to do through SAS Health is automate that pipeline for as many disparate data sets as we can, ingest it through SAS Health, normalize it, prepare it for those downstream analytics workflows that you have, so you can either build your own models, use one that we provide, or integrate it into the AI workflows that you have inside of Viya. So I'm going to start this. So this is going to be a quick video that I show, and this is his recent collaboration is this year with InterSystems. InterSystems is an interoperability provider for doing some of this transformation of data. So what we've done is connected to their services where we can do some of the transformation upstream before it makes its way into SAS Health. So we have X12, XML data, HL7 data, and we go through their service process pipeline. And what you can see here is what we're actually doing is transforming that HL7 V2 data into an SDA format, which is their format, which then gets transformed into FHIR standard. And what we do with FHIR is use our API loader to bring it in, and we parse it and normalize it into a standard data model schema that is for SAS Health. So as you're seeing right here, our collaboration and integration into InterSystem allows for us to take all that disparate data and transform it into a format that SAS can handle, and then ingest it in and normalize it for our use inside of our application layer. So just kind of looking at this right now, you can actually see the different components that were being leveraged. We'll click into one of these, and then shows you the actual parsing of it into a JSON object. So you can see that source from the HL7 and the actual resource type, which would be patient for this example, or patient name. So what we do then is when we deploy this, we have a FHIR server. FHIR is that interoperability standard that we're trying to get to. And we're taking different data sources like imaging, immunization, medication, service record, and then exporting that from the FHIR server into a object storage. So then when that data gets into an object storage, we're able to pull it down through our API loader and ingest that JSON object and parse it into our normalized table. So now that we're in SAS Health, I'm going to show you a little bit about what this connection looks like. So I'm going to pause here and swap over to our actual interactive demo. There we go. So again, SAS Health really is an interoperability driven data management AI platform built on Viya, right? So this is all built on Viya. It supports healthcare analytics across the care continuum. And really at the core is our healthcare common data model. It's a standardized analytics-ready relational database that is created by flattening those FHIR resources into more than 40 tables. So we're taking all those disparate data sources through our inter-system integration, putting it into a FHIR format, and that FHIR format is then being processed and normalized into SAS. And this is a low-code, no-code ETL framework that simplifies this whole process so you don't have to write as much code, you don't have to interact with that data engineering capability. You can do this with point-and-click capability. So I'm going to cover this pretty quickly, but what we're doing right here is we're establishing a target connection so we can basically decide if we want to deploy it in Postgres, single store, or Snowflake. And once we've established that target connection of where we want it to be, we will then connect to the source data. So this would be, in this case, InterSystems FHIR server that we're deploying alongside of SAS Health. So again, that's being mapped. We have automatic mapping for that FHIR data coming into SAS Health. So again, we've transformed the HL7 data, the CDA data, the ADT data into FHIR, and then SAS Health is parsing that FHIR data and pulling it into our analytics base tables within SAS Health. And we schedule this, you can schedule it almost real time, I think up to every 5 minutes. You can do an incremental load, or you can do a full load of batch processing of all the data into the SAS Health Common Data Model. And anything from adverse events, patient, condition, encounter is going to be available to ingest. So once the data is scheduled, you can also see how we do ETL monitoring for ensuring the seamless transfer of data from that source system into SAS Health. To quickly detect and resolve any issues. So this is what it would look like for your ETL analyst or developer that shows the charts for the breakdown of execution steps. So this is the extraction, transformation, and loading. As you can see, 56 million records that we've loaded in from across all these different sources. And then downstream, once we've created this, included in SAS Health is the SAS medication risk model. So this model includes an out-of-the-box report that enables users to quickly view members and compare characteristics between member risk categories. You can filter by county, pharmacy, ordering provider. So this is one of the predictive models that our team has developed to then provide insights on the data that we've ingested through the pipeline that's automatic and established at this point. So additionally, we've built a Copilot that we're calling SAS Viya Copilot for clinical data discovery to interact with this data. So one of the biggest problems that we see is clinicians are having to go to their engineering colleagues or their technical colleagues and request outputs for different research projects or for different models that they're building. So what SAS Health Copilot does, it transforms data access across the SAS Health ecosystem by using a large language model to translate natural language input, such as questions or commands, into SQL queries that are executed directly against the common data model. So this approach broadens access to data for users without deep technical or SQL expertise, reducing reliance on specialized resources and accelerating access to insights. By simplifying data exploration, this helps drive the analytics adoption, improving outcomes and time to value. So basically what we're allowing the customer to do, or the client, the user to do, is type in a prompt such as females, patients between 18 and 45 years of age with type 2 diabetes. And then from there, it's going to use natural language and transform that natural language into a SQL query and use our metadata tables to understand what it's going to send out to the LLM and return back a result. So when the prompt is executed, it automatically executes the query against the data that's already been ingested and stored in the common data model through that ETL process, returning a list of patients that meets the specified criteria. So that SQL query generated can be downloaded, copied, or further extended for review. So you can iterate on this query, and then once you get it to a space that you like it, you can export it or do with it what you need. But always having a human in the loop so you can audit and see the traceability of this query. We also provide a prompt gallery, so these are sample prompts that your team can create, enabling organizations to define standard content that they want to promote, so there's governance built in, ensuring efficiency and consistency across the organization. So after the Copilot returns the list of patients that meet the specific criteria, we can also create a data view, and it can be leveraged then across the SAS ecosystem for further analytics. So you could put that data view into CastLib, and then you could start utilizing it for visual analytics reports. You can build a model based off of it in Model Studio. You can write code inside of SAS Studio to execute against that data view. Pretty much whatever you want to do with that data inside of the ecosystem, it's available. So you can also access this, again, you can see through Data Explorer, Manage Data. We've created this data view called Diabetes Cohort with about 500,000 rows, and we created it using the SAS Health Copilot. So once the data view is loaded into memory, it can then be explored and analyzed directly in SAS Visual Analytics, as I was indicating earlier. So you click Actions, Explore and Visualize, and then with SAS Health Copilot, once you define this data view and pull it into Visual Analytics, it can help users, the Viya Copilot within Visual Analytics can help users easily go through, create a report, and develop that visualization very quickly. So Copilot would start by suggesting which data source to start with. So as you can see, the Copilot is saying, here are the data sources currently available to add to this report. We have SAS Viya types and diabetes cohort. Since I don't yet know your analysis goal, here is a simple suggestion, and it's giving us a recommendation of adding a server, a library, and a table, and this is the cohort, so we're going to add the diabetes cohort. So we've added the data source to this report, and now you're going to see all the different data sources on our table columns on the left side. You can see age, billing, state, encounter class, total encounters, and the lab values. So Copilot's going to recommend visualizations and targeted prompts to accelerate analysis. So following the suggestion, we inspect the HbA1c distribution to surface clinical patterns and guide next steps. So again, we're going to type in HbA1c distribution, and it's creating a histogram for most recent HbA1c value based on the data and prompt. We're going to review the chart, click Apply to insert the default histogram with selected suggested bins and access labels. So again, I just have given it some information. It's giving me a recommendation on the bins that it needs and the count of patients. And as you can see, the histogram appears on the report canvas. So the most recent HbA1c value shows multiple peaks. So again, it's giving you a preview of the visual inside of the workflow, and then populating that directly into the visual analytics report. So from there, we're going to maybe add another visual. So we want to do additional visualization. So since the HbA1c histogram from the preview is already part of the report, we're going to refine it and adjust labels and select reference line to highlight clinical thresholds. So again, this is a list table to the report with the patient ID, the age, billing state, and the most recent HbA1c value. So you can add a patient table to the histogram, and it automatically added those columns so you can correlate individual records with peaks. So it's placed automatically into the report, just using some simple prompting by the Visual Analytics Copilot. We also can continue to provide additional recommendations, data analysis, or report building recommendations. So that's effectively, I'm just going to go back one, I think. There we go. So as you can see, we've gone from raw data in a legacy data format like HL7v2. We've, through our integration with InterSystems, been able to normalize that data into a FHIR JSON object, which then SAS Health pulls from object storage and parses into the SAS Health Common Data Model. All that's done automatically. We didn't write a single line of code. We can have the customized mappings already out of the box to get to that base level of the analytics tables that you need. From there, we're able to go immediately into a medication adherence risk model that SAS provides out of the box to predict cost and compliance with our patient populations. And then we can create a secondary data view using the SAS Health Copilot for clinical data discovery to then feed into our Copilot for visual analytics to visualize what the most recent HbA1c value is for these at-risk patients. So really from start to finish, throughout this entire workflow, SAS Health has created an automated pipeline to get from raw data to insights faster, and then enabled the AI capabilities to help the user obtain better insights and better outcomes for their patient population. So I'll pause here. I went through that somewhat quickly, but we have about 5 or 10 minutes left. Any questions about the integrations or the capabilities that we've shown today? Yes.
So you were talking about integrating or pulling data from HL7 into FHIR and then pulling data from there. How did you deal with data privacy, especially when it came to healthcare industry? Because HL7 has all the fields for identification of data, right? So how did you deal with that?
Sorry, could you repeat it one more question?
How did you, data privacy is a huge issue in healthcare.
Oh, yes.
Right? So deriving data from HL7 into FHIR and into your product, right? It is a cloud-based system.
Correct.
So how did you deal with that, like using, did you use de-identify data? Did you?
Okay, I understand the question,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah. So SAS Health can anonymize data upon ingestion. So we have the ability to ingest that FHIR data and anonymize it based on customer settings, depending upon how you want to do it. We also, with InterSystems, have the ability to anonymize that data upon ingestion into InterSystems. So really, depending upon where in the pipeline you want that anonymization process to happen, we can leverage that. It's a toggle, effectively, that some customers establish on by default, and others, just depending upon the type of data that they want to bring in, the analysis that they want to do, will either choose to de-identify or bring it in as is. Sorry, I can't, it's okay, I can't, it's hard to hear.
Have you worked with any government agency or in any other states when it came to healthcare data?
Yeah, so we're working with a European hospital system or healthcare system, Western European right now, that's getting ready to use this exact capability for doing that predictive admission and length of stay calculation that I was alluding to. So it's a regional hospital within a larger country in Western Europe has done that, and we're also looking at some other hospital systems in Western Europe and a different country that are looking to utilize it as well. Good question, though. Thank you. Any other questions about the Copilot or any of the capabilities that we're showing today? No?
No questions?
No questions? Okay.
All right, we'll give you a little time back. If you do come up with a question.
Yeah, I'll tell them, yeah, sorry. So I'll be at the HLS Solutions booth for the next couple hours. So if you want to learn more, talk to me. I'm happy to answer any of your questions, talk a little bit more about your use cases, understand how you guys are leveraging Viya today or SAS in general. And yeah, I'd be happy to talk to you. So please come up, and thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.